Badger Max Thursday Night Lights presented by Northwest Surgery Center on My 24 is brought to you by Badger Max Premium Sports Drinks. Drink it to the max. Northwest Surgery Center. Menards. And by Wisconsin Lutheran College. Additional support has been provided by the U.S. Army, Goodwill, Salvation Army, and Sports Radio 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Welcome to the Badger Max Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Northwest Surgery Center. We're live at historic South Stadium as Milwaukee Riverside takes on Milwaukee Hamilton in a city conference showdown. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike McGivern. I'm with Sports Radio 105.7 FM, The Fan, and this is the Fan pregame show. I'm joined by the two head coaches tonight's game, Andrew Thompson and Patrick Wagner. Patrick, let's start with you. So far, so good, right? Especially in conference, feeling pretty good about this young team?
Yeah, we are. We've bounced back from two non-conference losses against some two really good teams and put up some W's, and the offense has improved every week, so we're feeling pretty good right now.
Both teams pretty young tonight, but as we talked on the sidelines, this young team is starting to get a little bit older, and as we know as coaches, you know, as the year progresses, things start to slow down for them, and these kids are really starting to play.
Yes, exactly, and it's the nice thing is that we're pretty much injury-free or pretty close to, so you know, it's those guys at least get more reps where we're not having to rotate a kid and they lose those reps. So just like you said, they're getting more experience all the time. It helps.
It's good to see you again, man. I'll come back to you in a minute. Andrew, first-year head coach, young man, one of the young guns, played for Coach Cerrone and Coach Stoltz, man. Some great guys to gather information on how to be a head coach. How are things going year one for you?
They're going pretty smoothly right now. I can't complain about our record. I can't complain about the work the players have been giving me. Just like Riverside, we're a young team. But like he was saying, every rep they're getting better, they're getting smarter, they're getting tougher. Today's a great matchup of young teams, and we'll see at the end of the day who comes out, who's better.
Hey, Patrick, I'm going to have you give him some advice. As a first-year head coach, what's the hardest thing for you, Coach? What was the thing that surprised you?
All the extra work besides the X's and O's. You know, I love breaking down games. I love the X's and O's of football. That's why I love football. But it's all the extra stuff, looking at kids' grades, making sure they're in class, getting equipment, jerseys, all that extra stuff is kind of made me run around crazy right now.
You smile at that. You remember those days.
Still do. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but now you figured it out. Now you kind of got a system, obviously. Yep. But he's doing a nice job as a first-year head coach.
Awesome job.
This conference, you know, I like what you guys do now with the breakdown of the conference. Did you like that with the first-place teams playing the crossover games? Yeah, I like that as well.
I think it really helps as far as building at least some competition, but also how do I put this? Some more rivalries to what we're trying to do in MPS. So you get some really good teams that are playing each other where, hey, you got to play the whole 48 minutes and not 24 sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah. I do. Coach, any surprises along the way as far as the conference is concerned? I'm sure you did your due diligence and looked at, you know, who was coming back and stuff like that. Any surprises as far as the football being played in this conference?
I wouldn't say there'd be any surprises. I will say, though, that compared to last year, I think every team has gotten better. Right. Numbers may be down, but every team I feel like has gotten better, and they're getting more comfortable in the league, and games are getting a little more competitive.
Guys, I'm going to cut you loose. Really appreciate your time. On the other side of the break, Terry Kelly, John Weiser will get you the keys to the game. This is the Badger Max Thursday Night Lights High School Football Game of the Week, only on My 24.
From newly refurbished South Stadium, it's a city conference rivalry game here tonight as a Richardson Division title up for grabs between Milwaukee Hamilton and Milwaukee Riverside. Good evening, everyone. Along with Terry Kelly, John Weiser with you. Glad you're along tonight. Very important ball game here tonight in city conference standings, particularly with the crossover coming up in 2 weeks for the official city conference championship.
More than likely, the winner of this game will wind up playing Milwaukee King for that city title, and both teams obviously want to make sure they get good momentum headed into the playoffs.
We didn't think we'd have to say this at this time of year, but weather could play a part in this game here tonight.
Hamilton likes to throw the ball, and the wind, I think, is going to be a factor for them.
Should be an interesting matchup tonight. Two different styles. We're going to see that spread pistol from Hamilton. We're going to see that read option ground game by Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside wants to run the ball. Hamilton wants to throw. So it'll be an interesting matchup.
Let's take a look at some of the key players to our ball game tonight. And we'll start first for Riverside on offense. Actually, 3 players we're going to focus, but really 2 positions.
Right. They've got a dual-headed monster at quarterback. 2 sophomores, Chris Sykes and Jabari Clark. Their running back, Jacoby White, and they make that offense go.
Pretty good defense as well.
Jaron Moss is an excellent defensive back, and a fellow that's getting a lot of looks from the Ivy League, Gertej Graywall. Looks like about a 45-year-old man. He's a real strong, athletic defense end.
When we talk about the pistol spread offense here for Hamilton, you got to have a good quarterback and you got to have some receivers.
They do, and they've got Xavier Davis and Kavan Williamson, 2 fellows who got all-conference mention last year.
And on defense for this Hamilton team, how do they look?
Linebacker Hector Rodriguez, outstanding. Linebacker and Michael Towall, also an all-conference defensive back from a year ago.
Leads us now to our Badger Max keys to the ball game tonight. How do you have it drawn up?
Well, Riverside has to make sure they cover the pass well. They have to make sure they find out which quarterback's got the hot hand, and they've got to make sure that what they're able to do is run the read option. That's the key to their offense.
For Hamilton tonight?
Hamilton has to stop the run. They haven't been doing that the past 2 weeks. Coach is upset with that. They must maintain and utilize their team speed and that wide open offense. And he wants his kids, thirdly, to have fun on defense. He doesn't think that that's been happening.
Should be a great matchup here tonight. Riverside has won 9 of the last 10. However, Hamilton took the game last year. Hamilton, Riverside from South Stadium. Kickoff coming up next on My 24. Blustery night here at the newly refurbished South Stadium on Milwaukee's south side. Hamilton Wildcats and the Riverside Tigers set to do battle. A key Richardson Division matchup tonight. The winner most likely moves on to play in the championship game in 2 weeks, most likely against Milwaukee King.
Right, and these 2 teams fought it out last year for the Richardson title, and Hamilton came out on top, something that Riverside remembers.
Ike Moore and his officiating crew with us here tonight. That is the United States Army Color Guard marching out toward the center of the field as we get set for our national anthem here tonight. Riverside student Shanila Frierson will sing our national anthem. Outstanding job, Shanila Frierson, a student at Riverside High School, with our national anthem. Homecoming night for the Tigers tonight, moving their homecoming game. We thank them and Bill Molbeck and the staff at MPS for allowing us to bring you this game here on a Thursday evening.
Well, we wanted to feature also the renovated South Stadium. They've done a magnificent job. If people can remember what the old stadium looked like, this is quite the improvement.
Our United States Marines game ball presentation, Sergeant Nicholas Rainham will deliver our game ball. That is Ike Moore, the head official here tonight, our referee. And his crew, Mike Moore, Dave Butler, Thomas Bell, and Ray Bass. And we thank Sergeant Nicholas Raynham for our game ball presentation. Prior to tonight's game, we had our coin toss out at the center of the field. Our captain's taking part in that, part of our Badger Max coin flip tonight. And we want to thank Badger Max, a Wisconsin product, such a big part of our Thursday Night Lights telecast this season. And we thank the fine folks at Badger Max. And the coin flip was won by Riverside. They will defer to the second half.
Sunday night, following Sunday Night Football and the local news on TNJ4.
So Hamilton will receive the football. They will be going into a pretty stiff wind from left to right off the lake here tonight, about 15, gusting over 20 miles per hour during the pregame tonight.
Yeah, I think Riverside, they wanted to defer. They wanted, hopefully, Hamilton to choose to take that ball, and then they're going to be able to hopefully pin them down. They want to have that wind in their face.
So we said a key matchup here tonight in the Richardson division. Hamilton and Riverside each at 4-0 in conference play. Bayview at 3-1. And on the other side in the Blackburn division, King and Morris Marshall each at 4-0. Vincent at 3-1. And King has a big matchup with Vincent tomorrow at Vincent tomorrow afternoon.
Right, King right now is unscored upon in the city conference.
Yvonne Williamson set to receive our kick from Montrell Jacobs, a junior here at Riverside. Riverside in the dark jerseys, Hamilton in the light colored jerseys. And we are underway. It'll bounce its way to Williamson. He'll take it across the 15, met at the 20, and down he goes. Good open field tackle out there for Riverside. Is able to bring him down, Jerron Moss, whom we talked about in our pregame.
Right. Coach Wagner thinks he's one of the best defensive backs in the entire city.
Well, we're going to see the pistol spread formation tonight out of Hamilton. Head coach Andrew Thompson and offensive coordinator Evan Jones. And those of you watching down in Kenosha know Evan Jones very well, former quarterback at Carthage College, part of that late head coach Tim Ruck's coaching tree we'll talk about as the game moves along. 1st and 10. And they're going to run the quarterback, that's Xavier Davis, around the far side, able to get out of trouble and down the field and out of bounds, close to a first down. A little broken play there, it looked like, and Xavier Davis able to bail his team out.
Yeah, so far this year, Xavier's throwing for 20 touchdowns. Excellent arm. Interesting matchup will be how does the Riverside defensive line fare against Hamilton's offense.
We talk about Davis at quarterback, and we talked about Kevon Williamson at wide receiver, but Nick Cook, Zebia Jackson, Jalen Bounds, Demetrius Wilson, your receivers out there, all very good indeed, and a very good offensive line for this Hamilton team. Angel Huertas, the center, a two-way player, also a fine academic player at 3.9. As we set the defense for you out there, and we talk about Graywall at the defensive end position, 5 AP classes he's taking this semester.
4.0 GPA, he's not resting in the classroom.
And of course we talked about Jerron Moss, the cornerback, at best football player on the team, as his coaches will say. First time airing it out, and it's a high pass, incomplete. Looking on that far side. I was looking for Williamson there, the wide receiver. On the season, 16 catches, 8 touchdowns on the year for Williamson as we get another look. It was a wide snap that time.
Yeah, Kevon missed their first 2 games with an injury this year, so he's just kind of working his way back in. Was first team all-conference a year ago.
So key third down play here, 3rd and 4. Davis will put it up. Davis coming back near side. Ball's tipped and dropped. Hit the defender and then went through the intended receiver, Jalen Bounds. We'll get one more look at this one. Nearly picked off, and almost a look what I found there is it deflected off of strong safety Stone Thompson and through the hands of Bounds, incomplete.
Yeah, that wind's playing a little bit of havoc with Xavier Davis's passes at this point.
Hector Rodriguez will punt this one away. Tyree Island at midfield. It'll be a short punt, won't even make midfield. That wind will knock it down, takes a wildcat roll, and will roll across midfield. They'll mark it at right at midfield. So good field position here for Riverside. Be a 24-yard punt. Again, a reminder, Badger Max Thursday Night Lights available streaming live online. Log on to my24milwaukee.com and click on the Thursday Night Lights link. You can also find complete game videos and photos from this season's games.
Looks like they're going to open up with Chris Sykes at the quarterback position this evening.
See a lot of read option here out of this Riverside offense. Sykes will take the snap. He'll want to put it up immediately. Completes the pass to William Walker. Walker just a couple of yards. Good open field tackle by the defensive back here on the near side. Actually, outside linebacker, Taver Emanuel. Taver Emanuel, a sophomore, has 19, make that now 20 tackles on the season. Did a nice job staying right at home. Right down the line of scrimmage. Made the nice play. 2nd and 8 for the Tigers. They'll hand it off. Nice run.
That's good for a Tigers first down.
Jerron Moss with the carry that time. Moss seeing a little time in offense. You know, and that'll be our first Wisconsin Lutheran College first down of the ball game. But, you know, we talked at practice, Coach Wagner, what he told us, first 10 or 12 plays, you get 8 or 9 players touching the ball.
Yeah, he wants everybody to get involved in the game right off the bat, and he wants to run 6 or 7 different formations just to see the defense reaction.
So Moss, his first carry results in a first down at the 34-yard line. They'll swing it out on a nice swing pass out to Walker, makes the catch. Walker with a nice little gain out short of the 27-yard line.
Gain of 6 on the play.
Call it a gain of 6. And now we'll see Jahari Clark at quarterback. He'll take it on a quarterback draw up the middle. Got tripped up as he got across the line of scrimmage. Manuel again there to dump him to the turf.
Well, Coach Wagner says he does not have a discernible difference between these two quarterbacks, so he feels very comfortable using both of them, and both of them feel very comfortable with sharing the time.
Just enough for the first down. So our second first down of the drive. Riverside continues to move. They will hand it off. Coming around the near side, that was Jacoby White, I believe, with the carry. And he is flattened out near the 22-yard line. May have gotten a yard out of that, just trying to stretch the field here.
Gain of 3 on the play. That brings up a 2nd
Yeah,
and
they've really split up the yards amongst the players on the offense. Last week, Jacoby had 141 yards rushing. He also is coming back from an injury.
Hector Rodriguez defensively able to bring him down, the inside linebacker for Hamilton. Pickup of about 3. It'll bring up 2nd and 7. And just underway, scoreless game here at South Stadium in Milwaukee. Wants to air it out. Clark going for it all, and it overshoots the receiver Miles Anderson, who was open. Got a couple of steps on the defensive back, DeAndre Winbush, that time. And the wind just carried that ball away from the intended receiver.
Anderson has outstanding speed. He's been timed at 4.5 in the 40, but even his speed couldn't help him catch up with that pass.
It's going to be a tough throw all night. That wind kind of cross field from left to right on the screen there, taking that ball away from the receiver. 3rd and long now for Riverside. And this will be Sykes. He'll keep it. Sykes up the middle, breaks it outside to the 5, steps out of a tackle, touchdown Riverside. Got to the 10-yard line, did a nice job, and then when he got to the 5, stepped out of a second tackle and takes it in for the score.
Fake that speed sweep, read what was going on, right up the middle. Good
1 tackle, 2 tackle, 3 tackle, and 4 for the score. Chris Sykes, that's his 5th rushing touchdown of the season, And Riverside gets on the board early, their first drive.
William Walker in for the PAT.
Walker to try the extra point. The kick is up, and it is through. 7-0 Riverside. So they take the early lead, a 50-yard drive, capped off by the touchdown run by Sykes as we head to the sidelines. Our first visit tonight with Kara.
Thank you very much. I've got Pastor Wayne Chevy of Wisconsin Lutheran College down here with me. Now, Pastor Chevy, can you tell us a little bit about Wisconsin Lutheran College?
Well, we're a comprehensive Christian college, 38 undergrad majors to go along with adult and graduate studies, located on Blue Mountain Road, close to the zoo, so we can get to just about anywhere in our city.
And being a pastor is a unique position at WLC. Can you tell us about that?
Well, you get the opportunity to oversee the spiritual life of all the students that are there. We have worship and Bible studies throughout the week, and I like to be at all their activities to see what these young people are becoming.
And if anybody wants more information on WLC, where can they go?
Well, you can come for a tour. We'd love to have you on campus, but you can also go to WLC.edu.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do for our community and the students, and for joining us for Thursday Night Lights.
Thank you very much, Kara.
And back to you guys.
Jackson's kick goes to Williamson on the run across the 30, breaks a tackle at the 35, and is stood up and decleated at the 40-yard line. Getting down there defensively, that was Montrell Rash. He just blew up Williamson as he got to the 40-yard line.
Montrell's brother also starts on the defensive line. Both of the young men are freshmen.
Well, again, this season, First Downs are sponsored by Wisconsin Lutheran College, located in Milwaukee, a comprehensive Christian college offering 37 undergraduate majors, accelerated degree completion program for adults, and graduate degree options. Learn more at WLC.edu. Lazabia Jackson with the carry. Out to the 45-yard line. Good start here for Hamilton on their second possession.
Yeah, on the year, Lazabia's rushed for almost 700 yards and had a big week last week, running for 214 yards.
Let's head back downstairs and say good evening to Mike McGivern.
Hey boys, good to see you guys tonight. Talking to Coach Patrick Wagner after that touchdown, he said, look, with the wind in your back, you're going to throw it a little bit. He said, yeah, that's the plan. He said, I think when we go the opposite way, we'll keep it on the ground. Wind at our back, we might put it up in the air a little bit.
Good call on the coach of Coach Wags, I'll tell you. He's pretty sharp. Nick Cook, all-conference first teamer last year, but nowhere to run that time as he runs into Zaire Ireland, the defensive end here on the near side.
Yeah, 6 feet, 187-pound junior. And one of the things we mentioned before the game is, you know, Riverside wants to make sure that they put the clamps on this high octane offense. Easy for me to say.
Put a tiger in your tank, wasn't it a slogan from the 60s there?
Yes, there's that high octane.
Third and long now, third and about 5 here for Hamilton. Took a long time in that huddle. Jackson the single back, Davis the quarterback from the pistol. We'll send 4 receivers out, receiver in motion near side. And it's going to be blown up. Davis nowhere to go once again. Some confusion, it looked like, up front by Hamilton. And not to be confused again was Zaire Ireland. That's another tackle for loss, his second tackle tonight.
Yeah, in the year, they've only given up, the Riverside defense, 722 yards rushing.
That's in, what, 6 games? So
6 games, and they've had some very good competition with Catholic Memorial at Kingsford, Michigan.
Hector Rodriguez. High snap. Rodriguez brings it down and able to get it away. A high knuckling punt. Hamilton will get away from it. They'll let it bounce inside the 30. Takes a wildcat roll to the 24. So they get a favorable bounce out of that punt and flip that field position. You can see the wind stretching out Old Glory here behind the scoreboard on the east end of the stadium.
Much like the Packers punter this past weekend, he had to sky up and make that catch and get the ball off, and with the roll, wound up being an effective punt.
You know, I heard a couple people say the punter, the Shum, may have saved his job with that, hauling that one down.
He's only 5'11".
Tigers back on offense. Went on a 50-yard touchdown drive. Their opening possession here. They'll put Jahari Clark in at quarterback. Will work out of the eye. And they'll hand it off to the tailback, Travis Hayes, and Hayes will be stopped for a loss back near the 21-yard line.
Loss of 2 on the play. That brings up 2nd and 12.
Dowdzinka, the defensive end, Anthony Dowdzinka, 5'10", 190. Also Hector Rodriguez in there.
Right, and Hamilton knows that if they want to be successful this evening, they have to stop the running attack of Riverside.
Yeah, they got it ground up a little bit last week against Reagan. Gave up a lot of yardage on the ground in that ball game. Allowed Reagan to get back into that contest. Now, Muff on the toss. It falls back inside the 15-yard line, and Riverside will fall on it. Trying to toss it back to Andrew Smith, 6'2", 240, and a sophomore. Surprising, how do you miss a body like that with a toss?
Well, Coach Thompson, said he wanted his players to have some fun on defense. That hadn't been happening this year. He said he was afraid to contact his college coach, Pat Cerrone, for fear he'd be scolded for how much yardage he's been giving up this year.
Mark it back to the 14-yard line to be a loss of 10 on that play. We need to reach the 35 for the first down. Sykes will take the snap. Trips to the left side here on 3rd and 21. And this will be Sykes coming around the left side. Sykes with some running room. Sykes across the 30. And he'll take the pile forward and move the sticks on a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down. And a late flag pulled down as well. Our first penalty of the ball game. Ike Moore is our referee. He'll mark the football across the 36-yard line. It'll be a 23-yard gain if it stands here. And we'll get the call from Ike Moore.
Personal foul. Defense. Face mask. That's a 15-yard penalty added on to the play. That's the first shot.
So it was a face mask that pulled the helmet off of Sykes. He'll have to leave for one play. We'll get one more look here as he made the cut. And just as he was brought down, I didn't quite see. Well, maybe right there.
Right there.
Yep, right there.
Same play that they ran for their touchdown. That speed sweep fake, quarterback keeps the ball.
So 23-yard pickup, add 15 more, will move the football to the Hamilton 49-yard line. 1st and 10 Riverside. And then we got a movement up front. I think the center may have snapped the ball a little too early. Well, while they sort this one out, let's head back downstairs to Mike McGivern.
Defensive coaches on Milwaukee Riverside sideline feeling pretty good about that last stop. Said, look, that sweep that they ran, we have not seen before. They feel like they're setting that sweep up, and they're going to pull it up and throw a long one once they have the win, telling their defensive backs, don't come crashing in. Make sure you're strong on your assignments.
On the center, I believe, Hodges snapping that ball a little early. Jahari Clark in at quarterback. He'll call his own number. Clark over the left side. Clark on his feet to the 40. Breaks a tackle to the 35 and out of bounds near the 30-yard line. They'll mark him at the 30. Gain of 16 on the play as we get one more look. It was Chris Gordon who finally brought him down.
Jahari also is a basketball player, and you can see he's got quick feet, able to change directions very quickly.
So they convert on 3rd and 23. They get the 15-yard penalty, and now they've marched it inside the 30-yard line on the Wildcats. Sykes again will call the quarterback draw. Sykes again with some room. Sykes on the loose. Sykes gets tripped up as he got across the 15-yard line. Might have been Kejuan Stewart or Chris Gordon, the last two back there, able to trip up Sykes. We'll take one more look on the Chris Sykes run. Nice little move there, and yeah, it was was Chris Gordon who tripped him up. They'll mark it at the 9 inside the power zone. We want to thank the great folks at Goodwill. This season when a team dives their opponent's 20-yard line, they've entered the power zone. Brought to you by Goodwill and the power of work. First and goal from the 9-yard line for the Tigers. Clark will hand it off, and Jacoby White into the end zone. Second touchdown tonight for the Riverside Tigers. 2 drives, 2 scores. The key conversion on that 3rd and 23.
Right, they had him backed up on that 3rd down situation, let him get out, plus the 15-yard penalty.
Nearly untouched is Jacoby White. It's his 3rd touchdown of the season.
Well, Coach Thompson was really concerned with the run game and whether Hamilton would stop it. And so they've been challenged.
The kick is up, and the kick is off the left upright. No good. So it'll remain 13-0. We'll take our break. 3:27 to go here in the first. It's been all Riverside taking on Hamilton tonight on My 24. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. The Riverside Tigers leading the Hamilton Wildcats 13-0 late here in the first. Well, Tim Allen plays a family man who tries to maintain his masculinity in a house full of women. It's Last Man Standing, weeknights at 6 and again at 6:30, right here on My 24. Overcoming a 3rd and long, got the 15-yard penalties we said before, it tacked on at the end of that run, put him in the across midfield, and Riverside did not waste any time.
I'm going to state the obvious here. It's critical that Hamilton gets a few first downs. They've got to give their defense some rest. They've got to establish their own offensive character right now.
76-yard drive in 7 plays, just under 3 minutes, with Jacoby White's 3rd touchdown run of the season. Jackson to kick it off. Williamson standing inside his own 20. Returnable kick here from the 20. Williamson circles left across the 25 to the 30, trying to get to the near sideline, and does across the 35-yard line before he is driven out. So Williamson again gives the Wildcats good field position. Travis Hayes and Rash once again able to bring him down. And now Hamilton needs to get to work here offensively, as you said, Terry.
Well, they need to get the ball to Kavan. He was a first-team all-conference performer a year ago, and Xavier Davis and Kavan have had real connection during the year. They've got to make that happen right now.
They'll put Jackson in the backfield. Xavier Davis at quarterback, working from the pistol. Slot left, slot right. They'll put it up. Going to go deep, and it's going to go incomplete. Looking for Williamson, as we just said, trying to run just a straight route down the sideline. He was well covered. Good defense there by Riverside. You get a look at Craig Klum, the defensive coordinator down there, helping out with Pat Wagner. This is where Hamilton does not want to be. 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and predictable downs. They want to get that, shorten up the chains a little bit here. Davis again will work from the pistol. 4 receivers going out, single back in the backfield. Davis with time, fires again, incomplete. Looking across field that time for Nick Cook, first team all-conference a year ago.
Yeah, they're not quite connecting. They're out of rhythm. Perhaps the wind is the factor, but you don't want to get the ball back to Riverside, and so let's see how Hamilton is going to start to make their adjustments.
That ball just a little bit overthrown, but still the receiver, Cook, was able to get a hand on it. Big 3rd down here for the Wildcats. They have yet to convert a first down tonight here in this first quarter. Davis on the run, circling back. Davis not down yet. Davis has a lane. flag down as he gets out of bounds across the 43-yard line, would be short of the first down. There is a penalty marker inside the 30-yard line.
Usually that's going to be a holding penalty. Somebody had their defender spin or something, and they reached out and grabbed him. Face.
Face mask penalty here against the Riverside will give the Wildcats the first down, as it'll be 5 yards after the play. Let's see if we can catch it here.
As he was scrambling around, somebody must have reached up.
Right there.
Right there.
Yep. Would have been Graywall. Looked like you got him across, just briefly across the face mask for the 5-yard face mask penalty. So initial first down here, a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down for the Wildcats, as Jackson able to run it down inside the 45-yard line of Riverside. Nice run that time. Looked like he's going to be stopped for a loss, but Jackson able to keep his balance, keep the play alive.
Well, Jalen Bounds and Lasabia Jackson, all members of the track team at Hamilton, and trying to put that speed to good use.
This is where they want to be, second and short, third and short, be able to work some of the short passing game here and mix in a few runs if they can. It's again 4 receivers going out. Single back is Jackson. Davis, the quarterback, from the pistol. Movement up front, and this will be a penalty here on Riverside. Nathan Jackson jumped the neutral zone, may have made contact with the offensive lineman.
Well, Hamilton would love to get a touchdown so that when they pick the wind up the second quarter, they can take the advantage of that as well. So critical drive for them.
So their only first downs tonight come by way of penalty, but it sets them up at the 39 of Riverside. 1st and 10 Wildcats. Davis, 2-step drop. Wants to fire it, coming back near side. Pass was thrown behind the receiver, and he'll get the flag. Intended for Demetrius Wilson. The pass was underthrown. Wilson tried to get back to the football, but was impeded by the defender.
Oh, we mentioned track, and Demetrius happens to be an outstanding trackman. Matter of fact, competed in the Nationals this past summer in the 200-meter dash.
It was Armstead out there, the defensive back. So pass interference. It's a 15-yard walk-off from the line of scrimmage, and there you get a good look there. He's trying to go back for the ball. It was underthrown. And I think because he had his hand wrapped around. Check that. That was Corey White who had him wrapped up that time for the penalty. So 1st and 10, Hamilton now at the 24 of the Tigers. Davis comes back. Going same play, and it was knocked away, incomplete. Nice play by the defender once again. White back there, able to knock that one away at the last minute away from Demetrius Wilson.
Yeah, he had broken free, and the ball could have been just a shade quicker if they had the score.
Life on the island, right? You got to forget the last play, go right after it, the next play. Nice job, got the left hand up there just in time to knock that one down, away. So 2nd down and 10 from the 24. Davis will hand it off. Jackson met in the hole, kept his feet, but then is pulled down back at the 32-yard line. Trayvon Williams in there, the junior linebacker, on the stop that time for the Tigers. There'll be a loss back to the 31-yard line. Be a loss of 7 on the play.
The guard did not get out and get the block on the linebacker that time. He shot right through the hole, stuffed him in the backfield.
So it's another clutch 3rd down here for Hamilton. Davis wants to set up the middle screen, and read beautifully there by the defense as Zaire Ireland again, his 3rd tackle in there.
Yeah, he's a little undersized at 187 pounds, but he's very mobile. Read what was happening on that screen pass, dropped back, and made the stop.
Jackson with the catch out of the backfield. It'll be a gain of 5 here, short of the first down. It'll be 4th and 11 with under a minute to go here in the first. Hamilton's going to go for it. Wildcats will go for it here on 4th down. Davis looking left all the way, now on the scramble. Davis breaks one tackle but is brought down short of the 22-yard line, and the Wildcats will turn it over on downs. Once again, Ireland there to make the play. It's 4 tackles tonight, 1 for a loss. Zaire Ireland.
You watch Zaire Ireland in action here as he comes flying across.
So the Hamilton drive stalls out at the Riverside 22-yard line. 39 seconds to go here in our first quarter. Trips near side. Sykes on the run. Sykes across the 25. Sykes across the 40. Sykes breaking tackles across midfield and rolled down at the 43-yard line. Mike Toma, the 6'4" senior free safety, finally got him to the turf, but another gashing run here by Chris Sykes, the sophomore quarterback.
Well, both of these sophomore quarterbacks have shown the ability to run with the ball, to scramble, to make something out of nothing. And you can see why Coach Wagner is very happy with the two-headed monster.
Our fancy footwork replay brought to you by Northwest Surgery Center, minimally invasive surgery for bunions, hammer toes, heel spurs, and other foot and ankle concerns. This time it's Jahari Clark. Gets thrown out of bounds and a late flag as well. They'll tack on 15 more for roughing him out of bounds.
Not a penalty that they needed to add on when they're already having trouble stopping this run. Both these teams, John, I think we noted, were rather young. It's incredible. Riverside on their offensive side only has 3 seniors, 6 on the defensive. You've got Hamilton, meanwhile, with a number of sophomores and juniors. So young teams, sometimes you make mistakes, and it's coming back to bite Hamilton just a little bit.
We already got to the boundary, and Manuel, the linebacker, extra shove, a good 5 feet past the boundary line.
A little bit of frustration, probably more than anything.
Now Riverside will take a timeout. So Coach Wagner wants to talk things over with his offense here, and maybe sensing too, maybe there's some chatter on the field here, wants to get the guys focused.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is say something or do something that gets you tossed out of this game and then the next game. And you know, it's a big rivalry. Keep the emotions in check.
Once again, we head down to the sideline during this timeout. Mike McGivern.
Hey guys, here's what I like about the defense on Riverside. Coach gets them together, talks about, hey, the penalties are killing us. Make sure we keep these guys in front of us. When he's done, a player will stand up, and then he'll talk and address the team. And this kid, number 2, stood up and said, hey guys, quit killing ourselves with penalties. But you know what? We hung in there, didn't give up a score. I'm proud of you boys. That's from a player. I love that stuff.
It's a play, and Coach Wagner has Jerron Moss, probably the one that is the leader on that team. That's what we found out, at least on Monday, talking with Wagner.
Well, he's a leader at Riverside in the student government as well, and you see those kind of qualities being demonstrated.
Well, with the penalty, moves the football down to the 23-yard line. 35-yard run set them up here, and once again, they'll hand it off. This is White, Jacoby White break and tackles Jacoby White short of the goal line. Down to the 1-yard line, a 22-yard run for Jacoby White, taking them inside the power zone, brought to you by Goodwill and the Power of Work.
Ball spotted at the 1, 1st and goal.
If I've been keeping accurate count, I've seen 9 different formations so far from Riverside, and we've seen Coach Wagner spreading the ball around.
Josh Johnson saved the touchdown, and that will end our first quarter. It'll be 1st and goal when we return. It's been all Riverside offensively here tonight. They've scored on their first 2 possessions, knocking on the door in possession number 3. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights presented by Northwest Surgery Center on My 24. Riverside up 13-0. They start the second quarter, 1st and goal from the Hamilton 1-yard line. Chris Sykes will take it from under center. Sykes will keep it, and Sykes into the end zone for the touchdown. Easy peasy.
Well, that front 5 for Riverside. You've got Kalen Hill at 370, Gerald Gimple, 240-pound junior, Charles Hodgett, a 230-pound junior, Mike Nicholson, a 263-pound senior, and Elijah Santiago, a 450-pound junior. Sykes just followed that group in.
Well, you just hide behind Keelan Hill. You and I could hide behind Keelan Hill at 6'5", 370.
Right, but a very strong athlete track.
Yes.
They like to run behind him.
Well, they missed the last extra point, so they will go for 2 here. Clark will take the snap. And Clark on a draw swings it over to the near side. He'll take it in for the 2-point conversion. 21-0 Riverside. And now we'll see what Hamilton will do here. Now they will have the wind at their back. Maybe this will be the spring to get the passing game working here.
Well, up to this point, offensive coordinator Chris Cummings has to be very happy with what Riverside's been doing on offense. Coach Thompson wants his charges to respond, and now we've got to see if that Carthage connection, Evan Jones is going to have to get those guys fired up, make sure that they're able to kind of show the offense that they've demonstrated in the past few games.
So far tonight, Riverside 13 rushing attempts for 150 yards.
Just as Coach Thompson feared.
Well, the Salvation Army would like to recognize Ann Jones. Ann is a member of the Salvation Army Milwaukee West Church community. She volunteers her time to help lead the praise and worship team. She also volunteers her time to support Salvation Army programming and community events. Her willingness to support any member in need, whether through words of encouragement or transportation to and from programming, is why Ann Jones is a perfect example of the Salvation Army mission of doing the most good. Williamson with a nice return short of midfield. And now we'll see, as we said, Evan Jones and that offensive coordinator there for Hamilton. He'll go to work here with the wind at his back.
Yeah, they were just slightly off with their passes in that first quarter. See what happens now.
Craig Klum again, the coordinator there on the sideline for Riverside. Davis will hand it off. Jackson to the line of scrimmage, and nothing there. Good job up front once again by Riverside. Rash, that's his 4th tackle tonight.
Yeah, we mentioned his brother earlier on the kickoff making the tackle. Marquell on that tackle there, 175-pound freshman.
No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10. Again, just underway, second quarter here at South Stadium. Newly renovated South Stadium. It is beautiful. New field turf, new lighting, new stands. Really done a nice job with this. Davis under pressure. Davis gets out of it. Davis running up the middle, down short of the 40-yard line. Should have enough for a first down. The first down by offensive play tonight, brought to you by Wisconsin Lutheran College.
See if that provides Hamilton a little bit of a spark.
Again, credit that Riverside defense. They have to cover 4 receivers each time out. They did a nice job there. There was nothing there for Davis, and he just elected to keep it down. Davis, the junior. We'll give it to Jackson. Jackson keeps his footing. Jackson inside the 30, spins down to the 25-yard line. Lazabia Jackson, a 5'8 junior, rushed for almost 700 yards coming into our ball game here tonight. Able to show some good legs there. Once again, a fancy footwork replay brought to you by Northwest Surgery Center. Minimally invasive surgery for bunions, hammer toes, heel spurs, and other foot and ankle concerns. Pickup of about 18 on the play for Jackson. 1st and 10, Milwaukee Hamilton. Davis to the air. Davis, corner of the end zone. Can't find his man, looking for Kevon Williamson again. Teron Moss out there in coverage for Riverside.
Well, the Riverside defensive backs have been running well with the receivers for Hamilton, and that was something Coach Wagner was talking about when we were at practice, and I'm sure the D coordinator, Craig Klum, was just beating that into their heads all week.
2nd and 10, Hamilton. Tiger 25-yard line. Davis will hand it off to Jackson. Jackson stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Like Montrell Rash again there to make the stop defensively for Riverside. It was a loss of 1. They'll spot it back near the 26-yard line, so call it 3rd and 11 here for the Wildcats. And we're early in the second quarter, but Riverside has scored on all 3 of their possessions so far tonight. Davis from the pistol. 4 receivers going out. Now looks to keep him. Now dumps it out, and it's incomplete. Broken up there nicely. Tyree Island able to get in there and knock it away from the intended receiver.
Well, as you watch Davis here as he moves around, maybe one of the things Hamilton might have to consider as the game goes on, they might have to start rolling him out right away, give him that run-pass option.
Once again, they will go for it here on 4th down. They weren't able to convert earlier in the drive late in the first quarter. Double slot, 4 receivers. Single back is Jackson. Davis on 4th down. Goes over the middle. The pass is intercepted. This is Island out across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Tyree Island with the interception. 6'1", 175, a senior. And Island able to come up with the pick on 4th down to turn away Hamilton. He's coming back over the middle. Ball was thrown high. It looked like he was looking for bounds. It was thrown behind him and high, and Island kind of sitting back there. Got a pick. 1st and 10, Riverside. They met in the backfield nicely there as they wrap up. That was Jacoby White, wrapped up on the play by Hector Rodriguez.
The high snap back to the quarterback completely threw off their timing in the backfield.
That's a good job by Hector Rodriguez, his responsibility there. Also a wrestler on the wrestling team this year for Hamilton. There are a lot of 2-sport athletes on this Hamilton football team. Sykes, nowhere to go. Brought down on the play. Sure who that is. 45 on our sheet. We have a 45? We do not. Yes, we do. It's one of the new players added to the roster, Delray Dawkins. Delray Dawkins making the stop defensively for Hamilton.
Yeah, Delroy's a sophomore that they just moved up to the varsity from their JV team.
There'll be a loss back to the 25-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 12 here for Riverside. And again, good job as the initial contact in the backfield, and they stay with it. Beautiful play. It was Rodriguez who got the initial hit in the backfield to blow up that play, and nowhere to go for Moss.
Well, they're going to force Riverside to punt. Something, you got to keep building on your successes, and I'm sure Coach Thompson, as the defensive coordinator, happy to see that turn of events.
First punt tonight for Riverside. Williamson standing inside his own 40. Going to be punting this into the wind, and we got a stoppage of play here. Looks like another timeout taken here by Riverside. Riverside taking their second timeout of the half. Stops play with 7:25 remaining here in this second quarter.
I'm not sure whether Coach Wagner saw something that he didn't like in terms of alignment. He is the special teams coordinator for Riverside.
Head downstairs, and we've got Kara set up with an interview.
Thank you so much. I've got Jacob Hamalian, the Youth and Young Adult Director at Salvation Army. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your position with Salvation Army?
Sure. So I work with youth and young adults from age 11 to 29, and we do activities. We have service on Sunday. That's the kind of thing I do.
And now the community centers that the Salvation Army uses are also churches, correct?
Yeah, so all of our centers are churches, but we also do social services. So first and foremost, we're a church. Secondly, we serve the community.
And you guys are looking for a lot of volunteers this winter. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so every winter we do the kettle season, so we ring bells, and we use that to give back to the community, and we need volunteers to ring bells. We'd love to have you come out.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight and for all of your work in our community.
Our pleasure.
And back to you guys.
Kara, thank you so much. Fourth down, punting formation here. Travis Hayes will kick this one into the wind. Williamson won't even attempt it as that ball drifts out of bounds, and now we'll figure out how far out did it go.
Yeah, that wind carrying the ball across the field and pushing it out of bounds.
Get a good idea there. They'll mark it out just shy of the 39-yard line. 7:17 to go here in our first half. 21-0 Riverside.
Well, they forced that punt. They got a stop that they needed. I'm sure Evan Jones now wants to see that offense come all the way through, get a score.
That wind just take that football right from that hash mark and drift it out of bounds. A motion play here. Davis will keep it line of scrimmage, and that's it. Good play in there defensively by Dan Triblett. Triblett, the 6-foot senior inside linebacker. He'll share that position with Darius Beckley.
Yeah, a little bit of experience on the defensive side of the ball for Riverside. They have 6 seniors on that, but they mix in a freshman and 4 juniors.
2nd and 10. Davis will line them up. Again, 4 receivers going out. Single back is Lazabia Jackson. Davis going to go deep and test it deep. Had 2 receivers out there, and it's incomplete. The nearest was Demetrius Wilson. Also had Bounds, Jalen Bounds, with him almost step for step.
Yeah, I think somebody got goofed up on their pattern there. You're not going to have 2 guys running that close, but you could also see the speed of these wide receivers for Hamilton. And that's why during the week they were talking about the Riverside defensive backs had to play pass primarily. Don't overcommit to the run.
All season, Mike and Kara have the opportunity to talk with sponsors, coaches, and other guests down on the sidelines, and you know about the great things going on in the schools and the communities we visit. Our sideline reports are being brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Completed pass to Williamson, but he's hit to the turf immediately for a short gain.
Yeah, that was Jerron Moss came up and made that stop.
Beautiful open field tackle there by Moss.
Coach Wagner says not only is he his best player, he's probably the one that has the highest football IQ on the team.
Hamilton will punt this one away for the first time tonight. Rodriguez gets this one away. High knuckling punt and good coverage as making the reception there for Riverside, Tyree Island, and he was shaken up. And we'll take a break. 5:46 to go here in our first half. Riverside leading, but Tyree Island injured on the play. We'll have more when we come back after this. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights presented by Northwest Surgery Center. 21-0 Riverside on top of Hamilton tonight. Our Thursday Night Lights game of the week out at South Stadium in Milwaukee. Well, it's the toughest reality show on television. It's American Ninja Warrior. Don't miss the action tomorrow night at 7 on My 24. We had a chance to look at the replay during the commercial break, and not a very good outcome here, I think, for Tyree Island.
Yeah, we don't want to hypothesize on what might be the injury, but it seems to be a lower leg injury. Just seemed to get that foot planted in a slight twist, so whether we've got a knee or an ankle has to get determined.
This week on Faith in the Zone, due to popular demand, Faith in the Zone will replay the interview with former head coach at Clemson, Tommy Bowden. Tommy will join Mike McGivern and Pastor Ken Keltner to discuss the faith and how it has affected his life professionally and personally. That's this Sunday, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. only on Sports Radio 105.7 FM, The Fan. Tyree Island sitting up, but as we take a look at this replay, watch that right foot get planted in the turf and kind of turned up underneath him. Again, don't want to play doctor here, but you can see just that angle with which that leg was planted in the turf and the way he was hit. That would be a serious injury. Show us support by both teams here as both teams all on one knee for Tyree Island, and probably going to have to take care of it here with the athletic training staff. Once again, we go down to the sideline and Mike McGivern.
Hey, before the injury, Coach Wagner was talking to his boys about finishing the half, the way they started the half. He said, look, offensive line, you got to finish blocks. You got to protect our quarterback and open some holes like you did the first quarter. Really talking to these guys about finishing the half the same way they started. And I can tell you that when Coach Wagner speaks, everybody's got his eye. Man, he's looking right at him. He's fully in control of that offense.
Now his coach Wagner, Pat Wagner, looking on with some concern here as they will assist Tyree Island off the field here. Island 6'1", 175, a senior. And a very unfortunate injury here.
Tyree's, conversing there with his teammates. Let's hope that it's not a serious injury, and that sometimes a high ankle sprain, they're painful, and the rehab is involved. He's helped to the bench there, and you see his teammate Gurjez Graywall helping him there.
Well, as Mike mentioned, Pat Wagner telling his team, let's finish the half like we started it here, so we'll see how the team will respond. 21-0 Riverside. Again, that interchangeable quarterback here tonight, so it'll be Sykes to start the drive at quarterback. A short one player here. The most important player. That was Charles Hodges. It doesn't start without Mr. Hodges out there. And a delay here or a false start.
Delay game, offense, that's a 5-yard penalty, still first out.
So 1st and 15 for Riverside. They'll run the toss out to that far side, and not much there at all. A loss back near the 21-yard line. Moss catching the toss, but nowhere to go. Once again, Hector Rodriguez having a nice ball game. That's his second tackle for loss tonight.
Yeah, a year ago he had 12 tackles for loss on the season. So far this year, already 7. That was number 9.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 18 upcoming here for Riverside. This will be Clark working under center. And he'll hand it off. Coming around the side, up the middle. That is William Walker, the flanker. Walker gets most of that back and then some, just shy of the 38-yard line.
Yeah, Hamilton will make 2 good stops, and then they'll give up a run like this, and all of a sudden they get creased for the big gain.
We'll mark it officially at the 37. It'll set up a 3rd and 4. And the carry and the first down by Travis Hayes. His second carry tonight, and Hayes very close to a first down, and they will move the sticks. A Wisconsin Lutheran College first down for Travis Hayes and the Riverside Tigers, with the clock approaching 4 minutes to play here in our first half.
That's a gain of 6 on that carry. Ball is placed at the 43-yard line. 1st and 10, Riverside University High School.
And still working on Tyree Island here on that sideline. Injured on that punt return. And Sykes had trouble with the snap, able to bring it down. Sykes on the loose. Sykes into 40, 35, 30. Sykes will break away. Sykes will take it into the end zone for the touchdown. A broken play, but Chris Sykes kept it alive and ran it in for the touchdown. 56 yards, 57 yards on the touchdown, and we've got an injured player down for Hamilton. Great job by Sykes taking that high snap. We'll call it a fancy footwork replay, brought to you by Northwest Surgery Center. Minimally invasive surgery for bunions, hammer toes, heel spurs, and other foot and ankle concerns. That might be Rodriguez who is down for Hamilton.
Right, that would be a player that they couldn't afford to lose on the defensive side of the ball.
Able to get from his vantage point here. He tried to go in for the tackle, and not sure if when he tried to go down, if maybe he inadvertently took a knee or a foot into the stomach, had the wind knocked out of him. But you see that great reaction by Sykes, the sophomore, to take down that high snap and scampered into the end zone.
Well,
5 drives, 4 touchdowns tonight for Riverside.
A good sign for Hamilton. Hector's up and walking off the field. I don't know whether he momentarily just had the wind knocked out of him, but looks like he'll be all right to continue.
See, they will bring the Montrell Jacobs, the place kicker, in to attempt the extra point.
Montrell Jacobs to kick for Riverside.
They got too many players on the field here for Riverside. They'll just get the player off the field here. And now flags on this play as well. This one not going well here on the extra points tonight.
But Jerron Moss was alert enough to take a quick look, see that there were too many men.
Legal substitution, offense, that's a 5-yard penalty, still extra try.
Probably dawned on the officials that they broke the huddle with 12 players.
One of those after the fact penalties.
Yeah. Move it back 5, kicking into a pretty stiff breeze. But Sykes with that 58-yard run. Jacobs gets this one up and it won't make the crossbar. No good. 27-0 Riverside. As I mentioned before, 5 drives tonight, 4 of them scoring drives for the Tigers.
Well, you can't focus in on just one ball player on Riverside. Each of those quarterbacks is able to run well. Jacoby White runs very well. Travis Hayes. What we've yet to see is Andrew Smith, a young man they have playing their fullback who does a lot of kick-out blocks. But we were impressed with his speed. 6'2", 240-pound sophomore fullback.
Tyree Island being assisted off to the sideline as we head down to the sideline ourselves, and Mike McGivern.
So, boys, on the sidelines tonight, Kenny Campbell graduated from Riverside 2007, went to Stevens Point, got his degree and his master's at Stevens Point, now coaching at Carroll University. Man, it's good to see you. You got to be proud of this group.
Yeah, I love this program. I love Coach Wags as a coach. He does a lot for the kids, especially outside of football. He does a lot, get these guys to college, to get these guys to the next level. So it's a blessing to have played for him, man. That's why I come to watch these guys play.
Man, good luck the rest of the year for the Pioneers, man.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Again, Kenny Campbell, class 2007. We've been arguing who was the best team at Riverside. I think a couple years ago with the Twins, he's thinking maybe his group.
It's close. Those guys can play. It's close, but I'm still gonna go with my group.
Yeah, and you have to, man. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Back to you, boys.
Hey, Mike, got to watch where you're swinging the praise there. Carroll plays Carthage this weekend, so I wish him luck next week. 5 plays, 69 yards, 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Sykes the 58-yard touchdown run to put it up 27-0. Davis has some time, now takes it down on the scramble. Decides to throw it out and got it into the hands of his receiver, couldn't bring it in. Nick Cook had a chance there. He was able to break containment, stayed alive long enough. Davis patient enough to find him, but couldn't quite get both hands on the football.
That's really been their most effective offensive weapon, is when Xavier Davis scrambles and either frees himself up to try to throw the pass or keeps the ball and runs.
Just a little overthrown, and it's twice now Cook has gotten a hand on the football but unable to corral it in. 2nd and 10 from the 37-yard line. Davis pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And Graywall, the defensive end there, able to swat that one down. 6'4", 240.
You can see why Coach Wagner smiles when he talks about Gertej and just what he's able to do. Talks about his tremendous work ethic and just how physical he is playing on the defensive lines.
Now quickly 3rd and 10 now for the Wildcats. Davis over the middle, incomplete, thrown too hard, looking for Williamson. He's got a right hand on it, unable to bring it in himself. So it's been a struggle tonight throwing the football for Hamilton. Again, it was an open receiver and just unable to connect with him.
Yeah, sometimes you get into a big game like this and you're just a little too jacked up and your timing is off.
High snap, and Rodriguez able to get this one away, but it will drift out of bounds just across midfield. See where they'll mark it out. Officially will go out. Got a penalty marker down as well. We got a personal foul.
Roughing the kicker, defense, that's a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, Hamilton gets bailed out on the roughing the kicker call against Riverside. So the offense will get back on the field here, 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. They'll move it out just across midfield.
That's either the 4th or 5th first down by penalty that Hamilton has had this evening.
Officially mark it at the 48 of Riverside, and a fresh set of downs here for the Wildcats. We're late here in the second quarter. Hamilton trailing 27-0, just trying to find something here on offense, something that can help them out here in this second half, give them a spark of some sort. Davis will just go out of bounds with it. Could have just thrown it away. Instead, he'll take a loss all the way back at the 47-yard line. They'll mark it 43-yard line here, and Davis will come out now for this play. He's on the bench. So who's going to run the offense now?
Well, their backup quarterback has had some action this year. A young man by the name of Luke Parr, sophomore. He's 5'10", 150 pounds.
Parr is in there. No, that's Rodriguez. Rodriguez in there now at quarterback. He'll be pulled down just across the line of scrimmage. Triplett, I believe, there to make the stop, the inside linebacker. Hector Rodriguez taking that snap. Like he wanted to give it off to Jackson, but they collided in the backfield, and now third and 19 here for the Wildcats. This will be Jackson. Jackson coming around the near side. Jackson gets it out to the 45 of Riverside, so gets some of that yardage back. We'll flip the field somewhat here. Jackson on a nice run.
Well, not too often you see a linebacker cross over. He wasn't working with the quarterbacks this week when we visited practice.
He is probably their best athlete out there in Rodriguez. First team all-conference last year on defense, also a wrestler. Go for it here on 4th down. Now timeout taken here by Hamilton. So Hamilton will take the timeout, stops the clock, minute 34 to go here in the half. And again, Xavier Davis had been running things, but he ran that last play out of bounds. He just took his helmet off, went and sat down on the bench. Well, coming up at halftime, we'll highlight this week's Scholar athletes, and Kara has a chance to talk with a few of our sponsors. That's coming up during our halftime report here on My 24. For Coach Wagner, you've established something here. You've accomplished something here in this first half. You've built up a nice lead here. It's a windy night. Passing game not going so well. Now you just have to finish here and play the final 24 minutes.
Right. You don't want to get totally out of whack with what your plan is. You want to remember that you've got a lot of the season ahead of you, so you want to make sure you're improving, you're doing those kinds of things going to make you a better team.
Davis back in there now at quarterback. Going to go over the middle, fires it out there, incomplete, looking for Nick Cook. Good job there. He was well covered on the play. All 4 receivers, for that matter, pretty well covered defensively with Stone Thompson. Love that name, Stone Thompson. That's a football name.
Great football name.
He was on coverage there on Cook.
Well, I wonder if they just wanted to get Xavier Davis out of there, talk to him, get him calmed down. We've seen that he's just off a little bit in his passing. So maybe just need to get him zoned in. Let's get ready once again. Hamilton has a number of games left. They've qualified for the playoffs.
Now they turn it over on downs. Coming around the near side with that, I believe that was White. Jacoby White on the carry. Delroy Dawkins in on the stop. Pickup of about 3 here for the Tigers, and again with this lead here, just want to just bleed out this clock here to finish the second quarter. Jahari Clark in under center. Fullback is Smith. And again, they'll give it to White, trying to get the corner on the right side, and they'll usher him out of bounds. Good job with the defensive back over there, Josh Johnson, I should say, the corner, just a sophomore, 5'5", 145, did a nice job holding his ground to take White out of bounds.
Yeah, on that side of the ball defensively for Hamilton, 5 sophomores and a freshman amongst that 11-man group.
Able to take the stiff arm and bring him down by that stiff arm that time. 3rd and short here for Riverside. Call it 3rd and 2. Looks like Riverside will take their final timeout. Stop the clock with 24 seconds to go here in this long first half.
Be interesting to find out just what Coach Wagner might want to have happen here. I don't know whether he and offensive coordinator Chris Cummings have said, okay, here's a play, 3rd down, let's see if we can pop that other touchdown.
I'll tell you, they've had some success with Sykes in at quarterback, just running that simple draw right up the middle. They've been able to find something, as Andrew Thompson, I know, is going to have a small discussion with his troops here at halftime. Again, that's been the MO, though, with Hamilton. Games that they've been in this year, tackling and defense, stopping the run has really been their bugaboo, if you will.
They've struggled.
Toss it out. Hayes, left side, Hayes trying to get out of bounds and does, short of the 35-yard line. Travis Hayes on the carry that time. Isaiah Glosson with the tackle. That's his 2nd stop tonight. That'll be a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down at the 36 of Hamilton.
Well, even though they're going into the wind, it'll be interesting to see if they want to just throw it up into the end zone and see if they can get that quick score.
Hayes in motion. Sykes going to air it out. Sykes going up. What a catch inside the 5 on a beautiful catch out there by Miles Anderson. Anderson, his 2nd reception tonight. They have to get to the line of scrimmage as they'll reset the sticks here with clock stop with 9 seconds to play. They'll try and clock it here. Sykes gets them set, and he'll clock it here now. Penalty marker down. It's thrown by the referee.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So they did not get set at the line of scrimmage. Will cost them 5 yards. As we take another look at that fantastic catch by Miles Anderson. DeAndre Winbush draped all over him, and a back shoulder catch on a beautifully thrown ball there. Talk about threading the needle. Right over the defender's shoulder, right into the back shoulder of the receiver. Again, they'll throw it, looking in the end zone, and it goes incomplete. William Walker, the intended receiver, the flanker. And that will end this first half. All Riverside tonight, 27-0. Tigers on top of the Hamilton Wildcats. Homecoming going well for the Tigers tonight at South Stadium, part of our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights, presented by Northwest Surgery Center. Well, welcome back to our halftime report here on Badger Max Thursday Night Lights, presented by the Northwest Surgery Center. Tonight we'd like to highlight 2 special student athletes. My 24 proud to present our Scholar Athletes of the Week nominees. And from Milwaukee Hamilton High School, our nominee is Michael Thoma. Michael competes in football, golf, and boys swimming, carries a 3.6 GPA. He is ranked 6th out of 304 in his class. Michael has been chosen all-conference in football, golf, and swimming, as well as being chosen as captain for football. He helps out at school as an athletic director aide, and according to his coach, Mike is a good student, even better person. He is a true student athlete. And from Riverside University High School, our Scholar Athlete of the Week is Gertej Graywall. Gertej competes in football and basketball as well as track and field and carries a 4.0 GPA. He's ranked number 1 in his class. Gertej is a member of the National Honor Society, has been on the President's Honor Roll every semester, and is currently taking 5 AP classes. He was selected all-conference honorable mention for football. Graywall helps out at his school and community by participating in blood and food drives and through community grade school outreach. And according to his coach, he is, quote, an excellent young man who works extremely hard in the classroom and weight room and is extremely motivated. Each week we'll be highlighting scholar athletes who achieve great things on the field, in the classroom, and in their communities. And congratulations from all of us at My 24 Sports. 27-0 Riverside on top of the Hamilton Wildcats. We're at halftime, part of homecoming here for Riverside. Let's head down to the sideline, and for the 3rd week in a row, Andrew Burns.
Wouldn't be halftime without an interview with Andrew Burns of Badger Max here. Thank you so much for joining us. Now you've got the trophy that's going to be presented tonight, probably to the home team, I'm assuming based on our score. But can you tell us a little bit about this trophy and its significance?
Yeah, absolutely. So this trophy is made in Wisconsin, actually in Grafton, at a company called Mold Dynamics. These guys have been working with us for the last 2 years. They do an excellent job. This trophy weighs about 35 pounds, and whoever wins is going to put it in a trophy case. It's going to be excellent.
And we've got the team names engraved on this trophy here tonight, so every single week we've got a different trophy presented to that winning team. And why do you think it's important for each individual team to walk away with a trophy?
Well, I think playing a game, especially on Thursday Night Lights, it's a great experience. It's something that the kids and the coach can really take home with them.
And now this is our first game this season with MPS teams. You guys have made a lot of community connections with other individual schools, but why do you think it's important for us to be in the Milwaukee Public School system?
Well, absolutely. Not only do we want to work with everyone in the state, but here in the metro area, that's what our company is about, reaching out to every part of our communities, rural, urban, everywhere. So we're really loud and proud about this.
And now speaking of being in the community, where can folks at home find Badger Max in stores?
Absolutely. Roundy's, Cobb's, Pick and Saves, some Sendix, Woodman's, and Quick Trips.
So just about everywhere, and you guys are only getting started.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for sponsoring Thursday Night Lights as our title sponsor, Badger Max Thursday Night Lights, and of course for all that you do for our community.
Thanks, Kara. I appreciate it.
And back to you guys.
Kara and Andrew, thank you so much. 27-0 Riverside over Hamilton. Back with more from South Stadium after this on My 24. Welcome back to our halftime report here on Badger Max Thursday Night Lights, presented by the Northwest Surgery Center. 27-0 Riverside. The Tiger on the left, taking on the Wildcat from Hamilton tonight. Part of Riverside homecoming, the Riverside University High School Marching Band on the field, part of their MJ tribute tonight to Michael Jackson. Let's head downstairs to our interview. Kara has the commissioner.
That's right, the commissioner of MPS Athletics, Bill Molbeck, down here with me. Now, you guys have a cross-conference championship coming up within the next couple of weeks. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We haven't had this for a while now because we've only had one division in our conference, but we've added a few teams, Ronald Reagan, North Division, SETE. Now we have two divisions, and in 2 weeks, our last week of the season, we're going to have crossover. So at 7th place, we'll play 7th place. But more importantly, the first place team will be playing first place 2 weeks from tonight at Custer Stadium.
Well, I'm sure it'll be quite the game to watch. And now the South Stadium has been around for a couple of years, but this is My 24's first time to South Stadium. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about South Stadium and your experience with it so far?
Sure. This is the new historic South Stadium. It's 2 years old now, so it still has that new stadium smell. But the one we replaced was 90 years old, and it really needed to be taken care of. And now we have this great facility here. We're lucky that our superintendent is really big on extracurricular activities, feels that not only football, athletics, the band that's playing behind us, everything that goes on after school with these kids is part of the whole school day. And the stadium is part of that also, because the fan experience, the kids coming out to watch their teammates play and everything else, part of the whole school day.
Well, our experience here with this field has been phenomenal already, and I can definitely tell that the people in the field and in the stands are definitely enjoying it. So we appreciate all the hard work that's gone into South Stadium, and of course for all that you do for MPS.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here, and thank you for our sponsors. I'm sorry I didn't bring you a trophy like the Badger Max guy. Next time I'll do that.
We'll be waiting for it. Well, thanks again, Bill, and back to you guys.
Kara, thank you. Bill Molbeck, thank you for allowing us to have a game out here at South Stadium to showcase this newly renovated historic South Stadium.
And they're talking about, getting all the kids involved. Interesting to note, in the band, 3 of the football players from Riverside are also out there now at halftime playing in the band.
Well, getting our game underway tonight, we had our U.S. Marines game ball presentation, and Kara has Sergeant Nicholas Random with her.
I've been waiting all season to get Sergeant Nicholas Random down here with me, so thank you so much for joining us. Why did you join the Marines?
I joined the Marines to travel the world and see what the world has to offer as part of one of the best organizations in the United States.
And what has been the highlight of your career so far?
The highlight of my career has been my 2 years in Okinawa. I got to see many different cultures when I went to South Korea and Cambodia. It was just an excellent experience.
Now, we found out that our scholar athlete is actually interested in joining the Marines after he's done with high school. Can you share with us some of the benefits that he might experience in joining the Marines?
One of the major benefits he might experience when joining the Marines is the free college that we offer. We pay 100% tuition, and if he wants to find out more information, he can call 1-800-MARINES or visit marines.com.
Well, thank you so much for serving our country and all that you do, and especially for joining me down on the field tonight. And back to you guys.
Kara, thank you, and thank you to Sergeant Nicholas Ranum for his service to our country. 27-0 Riverside on top of Hamilton. We'll have more from South Stadium after this on My 24. Welcome back to our halftime report here on Badger Max Thursday Night Lights, presented by Northwest Surgery Center. It's been all Riverside so far. Tigers leading Hamilton Wildcats 27-0. Time now for our U.S. Army interview down on the sideline. Once again, here's Kara.
Once again, that's right. My favorite part about interviewing men of the service is I get a ton of yes ma'ams, which is exactly what I heard before this interview now. But now I've got Staff Sergeant John Meeks with me. Why did you join the Army?
Just for family tradition, what my grandfather and father both did, and to honor those that served before me. And that's basically it. Young men and women that have served before in the past, and that was one of the main reasons I did.
And now you've been a recruiter for a number of years with the Army. Why is it important for you guys to be a part of Thursday Night Lights?
Actually, it's an honor and pleasure to actually help these young men and women achieve their goals and aspirations and things like that, so that they can go on and with their endeavors and be successful in life.
And being front and center with a bunch of students and potential candidates for the Army, what are those qualifications?
Actually, qualifications is between 17 and 34 years old, young men or women that are morally, physically, mentally straight to and eager and motivated. So,
kind of like yourself, correct? Well, we appreciate all the work that you've done in the Army and for serving our country, and of course for joining us for Thursday Night Lights.
No problem. Thanks for your support.
And back to you.
Kara, thank you. That leads us into our halftime highlights, brought to you by the United States Army and Army Strong. And as we said, it was early on here tonight. Hamilton, or I should say Riverside, getting things started. Mr. Sykes, I believe this is your stop right here, first of 2 touchdowns.
Call runs like that ankle breakers. He comes right up in the defensive back and just makes the cut.
Another nice run by Jacoby White for the second touchdown of the game. 2 possessions, 2 scores. The extra point was missed. And then Sykes going in for his second touchdown of the evening on a quarterback keep. And this one, amazing play here, the high snap.
I think he actually threw the defense off for a second. All of a sudden, before they realized that Sykes was gone.
His 3rd touchdown tonight. And that's where we stand. Our highlights brought to you by the United States Army, Army Strong. A little dance-off going off here on the field between the Wildcat and the Tigers. We'll have second half coming your way here in just a moment. And we'll head to break. This is our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights presented by Northwest Surgery Center on My 24. $27-0 Riverside on top of Hamilton with Terry Kelly, John Weiser, Mike McGivern, and Kara. Our entire My 24 sports crew tonight at South Stadium in Milwaukee, where it's been all Riverside tonight as we take a look at the numbers, and they reflect a domination here by the Tigers.
They show exactly what's happening. Chris Sykes, their quarterback, 8 rushes, 173 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
And this has been the storyline for the Wildcat defense. They have had trouble all season stopping the run.
Right, they've had 2 shootouts the last 2 games. It's like 54-52, those kinds of scores. And so Hamilton has to see, can they rally themselves during the second half?
Look at our halftime numbers. Teams back up on the field getting set for our second half. While they're doing that, earlier, Kara had an opportunity to talk with Pat Belter and the fine folks at Goodwill.
Thank you so much. I've got Pat Bolter with Goodwill here with me. Now, Pat, as we head into fall, why is Goodwill such a great destination for Halloween?
Well, for us, Halloween is like Christmas. If you're still racking your brain for that great Halloween costume idea and don't want to spend a fortune, we're your go-to destination for Halloween. We have unbelievable costuming and accessories and decor ideas for your home. Really the go-to place for Halloween, all at affordable prices. So instead of spending hundreds of dollars on a costume, come to Goodwill and we'll help you put together these fantastic costumes and ideas. Go to our website for it all, amazinggoodwill.com. There's a Halloween section, and we have everything from pumpkin carving templates and videos on how to put some of these costumes together.
Well, thank you so much for all that you offer for our community and, of course, for supporting Thursday Night Lights.
Thank you.
And back to you.
Kara, thank you. We thank the fine folks at Goodwill being on board once again this season. Riverside on top of Hamilton, 27-0. Riverside, they've got one more game next week against Bayview, and then they'll play the crossover game. Meanwhile, for the Hamilton Wildcats, they've got Bradley Tech on their schedule, and then a crossover game that final week. And again, that'll all be dictated by the standings. And coming into play this weekend in City Conference play, Hamilton and Riverside each at 4-0 atop the Richardson division, while over in the Blackburn division, King and Morse Marshall each at 4-0. Some big ball games going on in that regards tomorrow over at Vincent, 3:45 tomorrow afternoon. Vincent hosting King tomorrow afternoon. That should be an interesting matchup there. As we said, King unscored upon in City Conference games going into that game tomorrow.
And the way things work out, the way the WIA has looked at how they do the crossover games, teams will have 6 conference games. 3-3 record will get you into the playoffs. And so a number of MPS teams are going to qualify, but both tonight, Hamilton and Riverside wanted the right to get that crossover game to play for the real city championship.
Yeah, Hamilton, Riverside, and Bayview over in the Richardson division are playoff eligible. King, Morse Marshall, and Vincent right now playoff eligible pending the outcome of the games then the rest of this weekend. But so far 6 teams out of the city conference eligible for postseason.
You know, there's always all the discussion about whether that's a good thing or bad thing, but I think what people are trying to promote is having young people involved in activities. Mr. Mobeck has worked very hard. You have to give hats off and credit to these coaches who are trying to make a difference in these young people's lives and giving them a chance to succeed.
Participation, I think that's what the WIA is looking for there, is participation in postseason, giving these players an opportunity. As you get a look at Andrew Thompson, head coach at Hamilton, cannot have been happy at all with the way his team performed both offensively and defensively. Hamilton just 2 for 15 passing the football here tonight for just 10 yards.
So it's hoping for a better outcome this half.
Riverside deferred their decision to the second half. They're getting the football to start our second half as you get a look at Pat Wagner, the head coach for Riverside. And Teron Moss, one of the deep men back there for the Riverside Tigers. If you're just joining us, Tyree Island left with an injury in that first half, fielding a punt, not expected to return here tonight. Kick end over end, bounce in front of the return man. Takes it down just across the 34-yard line. That was Corey White with the carry, brought down by Zabia Jackson. Again, a reminder, Badger Max Thursday Night Lights available streaming live online. Log on to my24milwaukee.com. Click on the Thursday Night Lights link. You can also find complete game videos and photos from this season's games. This will be Jahari Clark to get things started at quarterback. We'll see both he and Chris Sykes switching off here tonight. Various points in drives. They'll toss it out. Jacoby White out across the 40-yard line. 8-yard pickup that time for Jacoby White, the 5'9 senior.
You can see Jacoby's speed as he plants that foot, turns upfield. They try to work on that play with the fullback kicking out on that end on the line of scrimmage.
Freshman Lavelle Payne brought him down. Officially a 9-yard pickup, 2nd down and 1. This will be Sykes. Sykes wants to throw it, coming down the near side, and it's incomplete. Looking for William Walker, broken up on the play by Mike Toma, I should say. Toma, our student athlete of the week this week for Hamilton. Nearly came up with an interception.
Right, that ball got away that time from Chris. Sailed on him a little bit downfield.
So 3rd and short. Jahari Clark coming back in now at quarterback. Third and 1 here for the Tigers. Wind continues to, well, not as strong, but still out of the east. It's coming around Clark. Clark fumbled the football, but it goes out of bounds. Hector Rodriguez able to knock it loose. It was nearly taken away by the second Hamilton defender out there. It'll be a loss all the way back to the 36-yard line. Once again, Rodriguez, 3rd tackle for a loss tonight. Saw him a little bit at quarterback in the 2nd quarter. Comes up big defensively here.
Yeah, excellent speed out of that linebacker position for Hector, 5'9", 180-pound senior.
This will be Hayes punting this one away. Williamson standing at the 30-yard line. Nice end-over-end kick. Williamson not even going to bother to return it. He'll let it bounce. Bad decision there as it'll roll dead inside the 15-yard line. I'm not sure if he lost it in the lights or what, but he made no attempt to return that punt.
He came forward, actually, right off the bat.
Not sure what that was all about, but it'll be Wildcat football at their own 15-yard line. Well, this season, First Downs have been sponsored by Wisconsin Lutheran College, located in Milwaukee, a comprehensive Christian college offering 37 undergraduate majors, an accelerated degree completion program for adult learners, and graduate degree options. Learn more, WLC.edu. Xavier Davis at quarterback. Will hand it off. Jackson tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. Xavier Jackson, the tailback, for no gain. It's been the story tonight. The Riverside defense has forced this Hamilton team into 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10 on a consistent basis here this evening.
You can just see the body language of Hamilton right now. They don't seem to be energized, and Riverside is kind of just dominating on that line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10, ball at the 15-yard line. Jackson the single back, 4 receivers going out. Cook, Wilson, Bounds, and Williamson. Davis with time comes back near side and overshoots the intended target. Gonzalez, the intended receiver. Rogelio Gonzalez, a junior, 5'5", 145. First time Davis has thrown his direction tonight. And quickly now 3rd and long for the Wildcats. And Davis will send 4 out and 3rd and 10 from the 15. Going back over the middle, completes on that sideline. That's Williamson. Williamson trying to fight for that first down yardage, just short of the 25-yard line. Williamson, see if they'll give him the first down. Mark it right at the 15-yard line, or 25-yard line. We'll take a look at this fancy footwork replay brought to you by Northwest Surgery Center. Minimally invasive surgery for bunions, hammer toes, heel spurs, and other foot and ankle concerns.
You can see him trying to fight, but he keeps going laterally. It'll be interesting to see where they've marked it just short, it looks like.
And Corey White was the last one there to put the lick on Williamson. So now it'll be 4th and inches here for Hamilton. They will go for it, trailing 27-0. Their own 25-yard line. Quarterback sneak by Davis. He'll get it. First down for Hamilton, and a big one there. Keep this drive going. Keep that offense on the field. Give the defense some break on a Wisconsin Lutheran College first down.
Well, I think Evan Jones, the coordinator, said might as well gamble. We're down 27-0, so, let's give it a shot, work for them. Now they'll try to see, can they build some momentum?
Now they'll get everybody set, ball in play here. Davis wants to throw again. Now scrambles to his left, cuts it upfield. Davis tripped up in the backfield. Nice job out there defensively. Would have been Thompson or Ireland out there. It was Ireland. Zaire Ireland. Another nice stop. He had a tackle for a loss and 5 tackles in that first half. Comes with a big one here.
Yeah, we talked about Zaire, not the biggest guy on that defensive line. He's got a 327-pound senior in Nathan Jackson, and Cortez Graywall is 240, but 2 guys right around that 175, 180 mark on the other side.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 9. They'll give it to Jackson, and Jackson swarmed under for a loss back at the 24-yard line. Well read by that defense. Montrell Rash in there. Rash now with 4 tackles, another one for a tackle for loss here.
Well, I think
he just beat his man once again.
Yeah, I do think, though, that might be a little misprint because Montrell Rash is listed as 6 feet, 175, and I'm not a real good judge of weight, but number 77 out there is not 175 pounds. So I don't know whether they've got a little jersey change or what has happened.
Now puts him in a hole, 3rd and 12. Davis rolling right. Davis still on his feet. Gonna throw it, deflects, and it's incomplete. As it was deflected and caught out of bounds by Nick Cook. So now the punting unit will come on here for Hamilton. So they get the initial first down, but drive stalls on that run play to Jackson. Really put them behind the sticks, if you will, and this will be Hector Rodriguez on to punt. Dron Moss back to return this kick. We mentioned Tyree Island lost to injury in that second quarter. And this will be a short punt that will bounce at the 40-yard line and will go out of bounds at the 43. So only a 19-yard punt that time for Rodriguez, punting into that win. So Riverside given good field position here, up 27-0, their second possession of the second half. This will be Sykes in at quarterback, Chris Sykes. A pair of sophomores alternating pretty much on a snap-by-snap basis. Sykes will keep it coming around the left side. Sykes with the football across the 40 down to the 37-yard line. A 6-yard pickup here for Sykes. 6'1", 170, a sophomore. Coming in, he's 27 rushes, 211 yards. Now has 7 touchdowns on the season running the football. So Clark will come in. Jahari Clark back in at quarterback. 2nd and short here. Clark takes down the high snap, gives it to White, big hole up the middle. Jacoby White inside the 20 down to the 19-yard line. It's a good strong run by the senior White. Going right up the middle, picks up another first down, brought to you by Wisconsin Lutheran College, and they are in the power zone. And we want to thank the great folks at Goodwill. This season when a team drives inside their opponent's 20-yard line, they've entered the power zone, brought to you by Goodwill and the power of work.
Those high snaps don't seem to throw them off at all. They actually seem to get some unbelievably positive runs out of them.
1st and 10 from the 19. This time it'll be Hayes. He'll be tripped up behind the line for a loss. Looks like Hector Rodriguez once again in on the stop for Hamilton. Once again down to the sideline, and Mike McGivern.
Hey, defensive coach from Riverside, talking about assignments, making sure that we're staying with our assignments. They're going to back up their cornerbacks just a little bit, and they're talking about trust each other. We've done really well trusting each other so far. Make sure we continue that, wrap up, and take the ball away. Those are the defensive coach from Riverside and what they're telling their boys.
I formation here, 2nd and long. Hand it off on the end around, coming around the near side with it. This is William Walker. Walker the junior getting positive yardage here. He'll take it inside the 15-yard line. Tavari Manuel able to bring him down. That's his 5th tackle tonight.
He might have gone all the way for the score. Just grabbed that jersey and caused him to stumble.
Gain of 9 on the play. Sets up a 3rd and 4 now for Riverside. Walker split out. 2 receivers to that, actually 3 receivers now to that left side. Clark on the keep, circling around near side. He'll take it down to the 11-yard line. Short of the first down. Delroy Dawkins, his 3rd tackle tonight, able to make the stop for the Wildcats.
Yeah, during the week, we got an update on their program from Hamilton, and they added Vari, and it's had a real positive impact for their defense this evening.
4th, we'll call it 2 here for Riverside. Ball at the 11-yard line. We're going to look to throw here with Sykes. He'll keep it in, though. He'll take it inside the 10. He'll get the first down across the 9. Down to about the 8-yard line for Chris Sykes. Another first down brought to you by Wisconsin Lutheran College. Officially spotted at the 8 here. Sykes was looking to throw and then just took it upfield and had enough running room for the first down. So 1st and goal now for the Tigers at the 8-yard line. Play fake, they'll roll quarterback out, ball in the air, knocked away, incomplete. Nice defensive work there. So it looked like it was going for Anderson. Clark looking for Anderson, broken up by Winbush. So I'll set up a 2nd and goal, clock stop, 4.5 minutes to play here in the 3rd. Riverside looking for yet another score here.
Think back to the old days, a lot of teams used to alternate plays with their guards. They'd run the guards in with the plays. Here's a team using its quarterbacks.
Clark will take this snap. Andrew Smith, the single back in the backfield. Another high snap. Again, they'll bring it around the inside trap. And this will be Jacoby White into the end zone. Touchdown, Riverside. Jacoby White, his 2nd score tonight.
I think a couple teams, after watching this, are going to put that high snap into their offensive set, because that's about the 4th time they've gotten a big run after that ball's come back.
That's Hodges, the center, snapping it back there, but doesn't disrupt the play at all. Clark able to bring it down, give it off to White. White into the end zone for the 2nd time tonight.
And we mentioned Jacoby in terms of how he plants that foot and turns it upfield.
Well, they'll go for 2 here. If they get to 35, they get to a running clock situation here if they convert on this 2-point conversion. Clark looking to throw, same play, looking to the corner of the end zone, and well overthrown, looking for Anderson again at the back pylon. That'll be our break. 4:24 to go. Riverside in control here at South Stadium. 33-0 Tigers on My 24. Turdy treated nothing. That's what we got going on here tonight. Riverside on top of Hamilton. 4:24 to play here in the 3rd, and Hamilton just trying to find things to get going here. And for all the info on the green and gold, including special guests, players, and more, watch Locker Room Tuesday nights at 6:30 on My Place for Sports, My 24. Anything, something for Hamilton here, anything. They just need something positive here on this next possession.
Right. I mean, they've had the season's been going pretty well for them, and I know Coach Thompson, first year at the helm, trying to get things going, so I'm sure he wants to see what can they have happen in the 4th quarter that'll propel them into their next week's game.
Bounce this one in front of Williamson. He'll pick it up off the bounce across the 20. 33-yard line before he is put to the turf there. Moss on that stop, and so Hamilton looking for something positive offensively here tonight. You just tell by the body language just coming onto the field, the offense, they're frustrated tonight. They've had some opportunities. Again, you go back to that second quarter, a couple of passes Davis was able to get out in front of his receivers. The receivers weren't able to make plays on the football.
Right there, the timing just seems to be slightly off.
Jackson the single back. Davis looking left all the way. Ball's out as he was hit. Ball will be picked up by Moss. No, it won't. He did not get it. Still scrambling, still a live ball. And finally falling on it is Trayvon Williams. Davis was looking left all the way, never saw the left end coming around. Okay, Moss is going to come away with the fumble recovery, but then Trayvon Williams finally falls on it just inside the 10-yard line at the 8. Second turnover tonight committed by the Hamilton offense. He was looking left all the way, and it was actually Trayvon Williams who got the hit on the quarterback and then had the presence of mind to get back up, chase the ball down, and fall on it. That's what you call never quitting on a play. Coaches, you love to see that.
Oh.
Another high snap over the head of Sykes, and he recovers the fumble back at the 18-yard line.
As a former lineman, though, I understand why the defensive lineman was trying to scoop that ball up and score.
Sure.
But the old rule is make sure you fall around the ball and get us the ball.
Sykes was able to just get on top of that.
Well, they've had a number of, kind of high snaps and subtle miscues, and those are things Riverside has to clean up moving forward.
Jahari Clark now in under center. He will hand it off. Hayes buried right at the line of scrimmage, may have gotten a yard. Once again, Hector Rodriguez in there on the stop, along with Payne, Lavelle Payne.
Well, they're trying to run the play where they take their left tackle, a 370-pound senior, Kalen Hill. He doubles down with Gimple, and then they take the big sophomore fullback, Andrew Smith, 240 pounds, try to kick out of the end and just give that ball to Jacoby and let him squirt through that hole.
This will be 3rd and goal now on the 17-yard line. Play action. Pump fake. Now goes to the back of the end zone, and it's through the hands of the receiver, Miles Anderson, incomplete. Well, they have gotten away with an offensive interference on a little shove at the last minute, but couldn't come away with the football.
Yeah, Miles couldn't do the Lambeau leap onto that little red wall, and he just kind of hung his head over there because he knows he missed out on the touchdown.
Josh Johnson out there in coverage. Anderson had 6 go right through his hands. 4th and goal. Once again, Clark will have Smith lined up in the backfield. Trips here to the right side. 4th and goal from the 17. Rushes on. Clark on the move, gonna let it go. Ball's up for grabs, and it is incomplete. Ball hit the turf, nearly picked off. There were more white shirts back there than black-shirted Riverside players. But it'll go over on downs here to Hamilton. So Hamilton will take over. 2.5 minutes to play, trailing 33-0. Once again, we head down to Kara with this interview.
Thank you so much. We stopped by Northwest Surgery Center. I've got Stephanie here with me. Stephanie, can you tell us a little bit about Northwest Surgery Center?
Here at Northwest Surgery Center, we specialize in minimally invasive foot and ankle surgery. This is going to include bunions, heel spurs, hammer toes, and any other foot issues you may have.
And now you've got kids that are in school. Can you tell us why it's important for Northwest Surgery Center to support the community?
Being a locally owned company, we like to support our community, and this is a great way to do it.
Well, we're certainly excited to have you a part of Thursday Night Lights this year, and thank you for taking care of our community.
Thank you so much.
And back to you.
Corey White able to get the strip on the receiver, and once things start going for Hamilton, they finally completed a pass. The receiver had it stripped right out of his hands.
You can see ball throwing, He was kind of juggling that ball actually as it came in.
It was Demetrius Wilson, the receiver, and then he's trying to pull it in. Corey White was able to take it away. Third turnover of the night. Sykes will lead them out. Chris Sykes, the sophomore. He'll take the snap. Quarterback draw. He's had success with this tonight. Up the middle, he takes it inside the 15-yard line. Chris Sykes, the quarterback, on the carry. Artavian Jones able to bring him down. Sophomore. Once again, we're in the Power Zone, brought to you by Goodwill and the Power of Work. Late here in the third. Clark now on at quarterback. He'll put 3 receivers to the left, single receiver to the right. Clark going back of the end zone again through the hands of the receiver, incomplete. Jacoby White, the intended receiver that time. That's the third time tonight. Receiver open in the end zone, and they're unable to connect.
Yeah, we've seen that Riverside runs the ball rather well, but I'm sure they'd like to get that passing game to get going to complement that.
Mike Toma, free safety, the defender back there. Second down and 10, just inside the 15-yard line. Clark will stay in there. This time he'll work in under center. Clark will hand it off. Not much there. White again on the carry, Jacoby White. 5'9", 146. Only 18 carries coming into the game here tonight. Getting a couple of good runs here this evening. So third and about 9 here, and now Jahari Clark, he'll stay out there. Came to the sideline to get the play, and now he'll his team lined up. Ball just inside the 14-yard line. Third down and 9. Toss it out. Moss gets it down near the 5-yard line. Jaron Moss on the carry. Short of the first down. A gain of about 6 or so on the play. Sets up 4th and about 4 here for the Tigers. Under a minute to go now here in our third.
Yeah, they slipped Jaron in early in the first quarter. You know, they have very few players for Riverside going both ways, but now probably trying to give him a little bit of a look also at running back.
Moss split out here to the near side. Anderson to the far side on 4th and 4. Ball at the 8-yard line. Handing it off. White gets it in for the score. Third touchdown tonight for Jacoby White.
Very nice lateral movement as you see him squirt through that hole. Once again, he ran to that left side behind Galen Hill, the 370-pound senior, and Jarrell Gimple, 240-pound junior. Get that lead block from the fullback, Andrew Smith. He just blasted up in there. Bam, score.
We got a Hamilton player down. Take one more look at the third touchdown run tonight by Jacoby White.
Yeah, Kalen helped cave that whole defensive side in, and then Andrew Smith, lead block, follows through.
Well, listen to the Wendy's Varsity Blitz Show presented by your local Pick and Save stores this Saturday morning starting at 10. Lake Geneva Badger head coach Matt Hensler and his dad Keith Hensler join Mike McGivern to discuss Badger football and the dynamics of coaching together. That's Saturday from 10 to noon, only on Sports Radio 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Well, I'm sure Matt has learned the rudiments of the wishbone offense from his father, who at Mukwonago really established an excellent program.
Zach Weber was the injured player, walking under his own power back to the sideline. Once again, they'll go for 2, and White will punch it in for the 2-point conversion.
Play worked well for the touchdown. Why not use it for the 2-point conversion?
The clock will stop here, but now we will have a running clock henceforward with the 41-point lead here as we head down to the sideline once again, and Mike McGivern.
Hey guys, I heard you talk about Coach Matt Hensler, Keith Hensler. That's going to be a great show on Saturday. Looking forward to that. Hey, listen to the coaching staff here for Riverside. They're going to get some guys in the fourth quarter. They got a big game next week. They're going to try to get out of this thing as healthy as possible. So you'll see some players playing next quarter that you haven't seen yet.
All right, Mike, thank you. They've got Bayview next week. Bayview sitting at 3-1. Bayview taking on Reagan in a crossover game tomorrow night. Or excuse me, in a divisional game, in a Richardson division game. So that could be a big ball game. Riverside wants to play in the city title game the following week in week 9. Jackson to kick this one away for the Tigers. Williamson will let it bounce. He'll pick it up on the near sideline across the 10. Kind of cut back across the field. Out the hash across the 15 and short of the 20. We'll mark it at the 19, and that's where Hamilton will get it when our fourth quarter gets underway. It'll be a running clock from here on out. Riverside piling it on here tonight. Part of their homecoming festivities. They lead Hamilton 41-0. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights presented by Northwest Surgery Center. Hamilton ball at their own 16-yard line. At the 19-yard line. Running clock here to start our fourth. A 41-point lead by Riverside. Davis looks to throw through the hands of Williamson, incomplete. That's been the story tonight. Once again downstairs, Mike, what do you got?
So, boys, the kicking coaches at Riverside, here's what I love about this kind of stuff. Both volunteer first-year coaches. One guy moved in from Minnesota across the street. He kicked in college. Another guy punted in college. They went over to Milwaukee Riverside and said, look, if you need some help, we're here. Coach, you're having a good time with this?
It's been great. These kids are really great to work with. They've got a lot of raw talent, and I think this is the real first instruction they've gotten in punting and kicking. So it's been a lot of fun.
And so you're helping out with extra points, field goals, stuff like that. How's that going?
It's awesome. I mean, we got some work to do, but Montrell and the rest of the kickers on the team really love what they're doing and really want to be better.
You know, volunteer coaches, I love guys like this. I just do. They volunteer their time. They head to practice almost every day just to get these kids better. Back to you, boys.
Good story there, Mike. Thanks. Good work there. Demetrius Wilson had 6 points go through his hands as he got behind the defense.
We talked about Demetrius' speed earlier on, that he had run this past summer in the Nationals in the 200. Ran track last spring, did very well. But now we've got to get the coordination of the two, and they just can't seem to make the connections between Xavier Davis and his receivers this evening.
Light rain beginning to fall here in the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 10 from the 38. Davis, little slant route, skinny post to Williamson. Williamson with his speed. He's off to the races inside the 25 and pulled down at the 23-yard line. Good job that time by Kevon Williamson. A little skinny post that time out of the inside slot here on the near side.
Well, you see the speed that Williamson has as well as Demetrius Wilson. If they can get this passing attack, set up well, they are scary.
Pick up a 40 on that pass play. They'll come right back and pulling it in for the score, Kevon Williamson. Touchdown, Hamilton. Williamson able to pull that one in from 24 yards out. And the shutout goes by the wayside here.
And that's probably the best pass we've seen Xavier Davis throw in terms of putting it right on the mark. Once again, sometimes you're just a little bit off, and once you get that rhythm going, who knows what could happen.
They'll go for 2. Davis wants to throw. Ball knocked down, incomplete. 41-6. 9:45 to go here in this fourth quarter. The no huddle helping them kind of get their timing back here a little bit.
Part of it's confidence. Part of it is just you have to change your mindset. Things have been going against you most of the game. You start to think everything's just going to turn bad. The sky is falling, and then you get a little spark like that. So I'm sure Coach Thompson would like to see things start growing a little better, and the offensive coordinator, Evan Jones, probably wants to see what he's seen from his team earlier in the year, that they can put points up on the board.
Let's step aside. Kara has had a chance to talk with our fine folks at Menards.
Thank you so much. I've got John Griffiths, the store manager of the Germantown Menards, here with me. Now, John, can you tell us a little bit about Menards?
Menards is a family-owned and run company with the general office right here in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. We've got 300 stores throughout the Midwest, 12 stores in Milwaukee, in the Milwaukee area, including ours right here in Germantown.
And why is it important for Menards to be a part of initiatives like Thursday Night Lights?
Menards definitely understands the hard work and dedication it takes from our student athletes to achieve their goals both on the field and in the classroom, and we really appreciate all the support they get from their families, the coaching staff, their teachers, the community, and we're really proud to be a part of that support.
Well, we're glad to have you on board with us, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
And back to you.
Kara and John, thank you so much. Well, Hamilton going for the onside kick. Why not? Almost came away with it. A wet ball in a wet field here. The question is, did it go 10 yards? Looks like it did. They will give Riverside the football. They did recover.
I think Daniel Triblett, one of their linebackers who was in that front wall, Riverside, cradled himself around that ball and gave Riverside possession.
From their own 49. Sykes going to take as much time as he can here. Looking at the back judge, waiting for the countdown. We'll hand it off. On the carry that time, that was Travis Hayes.
Travis Hayes on the carry.
Take it down to the Hamilton 47-yard line.
Gain of 4 yards.
Still have the 35-point spread for the running clock.
Corey White brought him down. We're right at the number. So the clock will continue to roll here. Again, Jahari Clark going to try and take as much time as he can do. Watching that back judge. And again, it's Hayes. Hayes down the near sideline. Hayes will take it all the way in for the touchdown. Travis Hayes, the junior, 5'11". His first touchdown tonight.
Well, you saw after the first 3 steps, he really turned on the Jets. Once again, he's a young man who also is on Riverside's track team. He just sprinted away from the Hamilton defense.
47-yard touchdown for Travis Hayes. Again, Riverside going to go for 2. Clark will take the snap. Hayes will get it in for 2. 49-6 your score. Just under 8 minutes to go in this one. So Riverside comes right back, answers the Hamilton touchdown. Again, as you saw, just as he got to the clear, 4 or 5 yards into that play, and he had it in high gear and high stepping into the end zone.
And as Mike mentioned a little earlier, a few new players in the Riverside offensive line that time as Coach Wagner tries to get some other players some time.
They will take on Bayview next week. Meanwhile, Hamilton has Bradley Tech on their schedule next week. And then week 9 will be the crossover game determined by the standings. First place in each division will play off for the, I guess you could say, undisputed city conference champion this year.
Right, they match up second with second, third with third, and so on.
This will skip to Jackson. Jackson across the 30, waiting for some blocking across the 35, and thrown down at the 38-yard line. Two plays, 51 yards, all 47 of those yards provided by Hayes. Again, running clock here with a 49-6 lead. See if Hamilton stays in that hurry up. Davis comes back near side, incomplete. Thrown behind Nick Cook. Lost his footing. We've had some light rain falling here in the fourth quarter, so that field turf getting a little slick out there. So 2nd and 10 upcoming here for Hamilton. After dropping their first 2 non-conference games to Catholic Memorial and Kingsford, Michigan. This will be the 5th straight win now for Riverside. As the pass completed out across the 45-yard line. Davis able to connect with Demetrius Wilson.
Yeah, Coach Wagner not afraid to take on some tough non-conference opponents.
Game against Memorial, that's been going on for quite some time in the non-conference between both Memorial and Riverside. They've kept that on the schedule, as scampering out of bounds with it is Davis. He'll get the first down, brought to you by Wisconsin Lutheran College. But again, with the running clock, 6 minutes to go here in the fourth.
And tomorrow night, Catholic Memorial has a big Classic 8 battle with Waukesha West.
There's several big games on the docket tomorrow across the area. 1st and 10 Hamilton. 44 of Riverside. Davis comes back near side, completes the pass. Williamson on the run inside the 30 and wrestled out at the marker across the 25-yard line. Good pass and catch that time between Davis and Williamson. Another Wisconsin Lutheran College-sponsored first down.
With 2 games left in the season after this week, people are really trying to position themselves for playoffs, so these upcoming games are critical.
Again, Davis going for it all, looking for Williamson. Juggled and lost it. Couldn't quite bring it in. Moss knocked it out of his hands, coming across the back of the end zone, forcing Williamson into the incomplete pass.
Jerron Moss came across. Had good help there from number 11, Cameron Nelson.
One more look at it. He had it, and then as he was trying to bring it in off his shoulder, Moss able to knock it away. You talk about that Memorial matchup. Got McWanago at Waukesha North tomorrow night out in that Classic 8. Greenfield and Shorewood Meshmer over in the Woodland. That'll be an interesting ball game as that pass is caught. Demetrius Wilson inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, some battles going on out in the Little 10. Be headed out to Oconomowoc next week. They'll be facing Wisco next week, so they want to keep their undefeated string alive as well.
Wisco taking on Watertown this weekend, while Oconomowoc hosts Slinger. So we've reached the power zone here for Hamilton, brought to you by Goodwill and the Power of Work. So roughing the passer after the play will add some more yardage here, half the distance. Move the football down to the 6-yard line, set up a 1st and goal for Hamilton. And the Greenfield-Shorewood game, that's for the Woodland East right to face Pewaukee. That's the game we will have in Week 9, the Woodland Conference Championship game for the 2nd consecutive year. As Davis looks to the end zone, and it's picked off. Intercepted with the football for Riverside. That was Trezon Essex Dent with the pick. 4th turnover committed by Hamilton.
Trezon, a senior, it's good to see him have a chance to get his number called this evening.
Looking to take our break right here with Riverside in complete control late, 49-6. Tigers on top of the Wildcats. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights presented by Northwest Surgery Center on My 24. Late in the fourth, Riverside on top of Hamilton 49-6. 2 FBI agents investigate the strange and unexplained. Don't miss the cult classic, The X-Files, Thursdays at 7, beginning October 20th, right here on My 24.
That strange and unexplained might be used in a couple different spots this evening, but we won't try to apply that.
Hamilton's going to fall to 5-2 on the season. Riverside gets to 5-2. Both teams playoff eligible. Still some plenty of football left for both of these squads the next 3 weeks. And should be a safety here as Clark tackled in the end zone. So we get a safety here. There was Hector Rodriguez still in there. May have gotten a play there. He's had a great night, the senior. Hector Rodriguez, I believe, making that stop. So 2 more. 49-8. Now the score with the safety.
Have to double check on how many tackles for loss that is for Hector this evening. 5 tackles for loss coming into the night. He already had 28 solo tackles. Now he's up to 12 tackles for losses, forced 2 fumbles, recovered a fumble, has 1 interception. You can understand how he earned first team all conference honors a year ago.
Also a wrestler. He's got that waiting in the wings once this football season is done. Gets right on the mat. From the field to the mat. Free kick upcoming here for Riverside following the safety. Hayes will punt this one away. And this will get past Williamson. He'll have to go back, track it at the 31. Across the 40, out to the 45-yard line. 14-yard return for Williamson. So Hamilton now in the final 2 minutes, try and put something together here and look for them to try and punch one more here in the end zone, make it look a little more respectable.
Right, and as you said, they've qualified for the playoffs, but they want to make sure they get their mojo back a little bit here.
Yeah, they'll take on Bradley Tech next week, and then the crossover game in week number 9. Davis comes back near side. Williamson with the catch across the 45, hangs on across midfield to the 48 of Riverside. Nice nifty catch there, able to hang on to the football. Make a nice 8-yard gain out of that, set up a 2nd and 2. Davis has them ready at the line of scrimmage. Again, a running clock here, and receivers on that far side. I think it was Wilson that took off before the snap. So from a 2nd and 2, they'll go to 2nd and 8 here. 2nd and 7. Under a minute to go with the running clock. But 6 teams in this city league have qualified for playoff football. These 2 included, along with King, Morse Marshall, Vincent, and Bayview. Davis to the air once again. That one thrown short of an open receiver. Coming back looking for Wilson. That might be our final play here. Let's see what Hamilton elects to do here. Final seconds here. Davis, last play of the game, circles around right, has some running room. We'll get it downfield to the 35, and that will end our ball game here tonight from South Stadium. Riverside dominating fashion here as they take out the Hamilton Wildcats by a score of 49-8. Stay tuned, we've got our trophy presentations coming up, as well as our Player of the Game award. We'll have that for you in our post game when we return to South Stadium after this on My 24. Homecoming victory tonight for Riverside, 49-8 over the Hamilton Wildcats. And they take over first place now in the Richardson Division with the win here tonight at South Stadium. As we head down to the sideline, time now for our Army Player of the Game award. Here's Mike McGivern.
So, guys, Chris Sykes, sophomore Chris Sykes, U.S. Army Player of the Game. Doesn't have a date for homecoming yet, but as the U.S. Army Player of the Game, they're going to be calling him. Congratulations, man. That was a heck of a performance. Good win for you guys.
Thank you. I would just like to thank all my teammates and everyone. Without them, I would have got this W today. Without them today.
Hey, as a sophomore, you got a lot of football ahead of you. This year, you guys got a shot, man. This is an awfully good team that you just beat.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. And we certainly ready for next week's game, and we're going to keep practicing hard like every single week we have been doing.
Yeah. Chris, that was really impressive. U.S. Army Player of the Game.
Hey, congratulations on being player of the game.
Great.
And to the rest of the teammates here, good job, fellas.
All right.
And I'd like to present on behalf of the United States Army and Army Reserves Player of the Game Award.
Here you go. Here you go.
Man.
Good job.
Chris Sykes,
Back to you, boys.
our Player of the Game award tonight, and what a night tonight for Mr. Sykes.
You could see he wanted to kneel down and be with his teammates right there, and
11 carries for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here's his highlight reel tonight. It's the first of his 3 scores tonight. Chris Sykes alternating in at quarterback. Again,
Right.
you're kind of an every other play kind of situation tonight.
I saw fast feet on that last one. Nice straight arm.
Takes this one in. And the one on the 57-yard, the high snap, and then he just calmly pulls it back down, and 57 yards later, 6 more points on the board.
Once again, you see a number of those Riverside backs with outstanding speed.
So congratulations to sophomore Chris Sykes, our Army Player of the Game tonight, brought to you by the United States Army. Army strong. Chris Sykes tonight, strong tonight, 11 carries, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns for the Tigers. And now we head back downstairs. Time for our trophy presentation. Once again, Mike McGivern.
So, Coach Wagner, we talked a little bit before the game. You said, look, we got a chance to be pretty good. We're young. This is a big game for us. We'll find out where we're at. Man, we found out where your boys are at. That was a heck of a performance.
No, thank you. Yeah, my kids really worked hard this week in practice, and it showed. And we talk about it all the time. Preparation equals what you'd get on Friday or Thursday night. Sorry,
Yeah, sure.
And that's what you got. Our kids really prepared well, and man, we beat a pretty good Hamilton team. So now it's on to Bayview, one step at a time.
You did beat a good Hamilton team. They were rolling. Coach, I would come over and watch you as you talk to your boys and talk to your players. And I have to tell you, I've watched you coach for a long time. And you know what? When you talk, they listen. And their eyes are on you, and it's impressive because you're certainly the man in charge of this group. Bayview, if you get Bayview, then it's probably king on the other side. I know as coaches, we never look ahead, but we certainly work ahead. This Bayview team is pretty good, too. They got a couple of really good players.
Yeah, they got a great quarterback. Their line is pretty good. Good running back. They've put up some huge points too. So right now we'll go watch them play tomorrow night and get ready for them, and play whoever wins that other side of the division.
But Andrew from Badger Max, we're going to do the team trophy.
Coach, outstanding game. Guys, awesome work. There you go.
There you go, boys. Congratulations.
Pat Wagner hoisting that 35-pound Badger Max trophy tonight as the winner. 49-8, your final here tonight from South Stadium in Milwaukee. We'll take one more break. Back with a final word right after this. Riverside in dominating fashion tonight, 49-8 over Hamilton. And just how good was this win? When you talk about Hamilton coming in tonight, that's a team averaging almost 32 points a game. You held them to 1 touchdown tonight.
And Riverside wanted to reverse last year's outcome when Hamilton caught them and cost Riverside the divisional title.
Well, we head west next week as Wisconsin Lutheran High School travels to Oconomowoc to take on the Cooney, a Wisconsin Little 10 conference battle. Make sure you tune in next Thursday night at 7. Right here on My 24. Thanks tonight to our entire My 24 sports team, to Mike McGivern and Kara down on the sidelines, Eric Murray, our spotter, Tom Sweddle, our statistician, of course, Terry Kelly, our fine color analyst, John Weiser saying good night from South Stadium, a Riverside win, 49-8 over Hamilton. Our Badger Max Thursday Night Lights presented by Northwest Surgery Center on My 24.
Badger Max Thursday Night Lights presented by Northwest Surgery Center on My 24 is brought to you by Badger Max Premium Sports Drinks. Drink it to the max. Northwest Surgery Center, Menards, and by Wisconsin Lutheran College. Additional support has been provided by the U.S. Army, Goodwill, Salvation Army, and Sports Radio 105.7 FM, The Fan.